Insectoid alien abductions. Mantis or insectoids have led the abductee experiencer phenomenon from the beginning of our modern day awareness of it. They appear to be at the higher, if not the highest end of the ET hierarchy, since they are most always described as overseeing or have a supervisory role in the abduction procedure process. This is the case whether it is a medical procedure or human ET hybrid interaction. This takes place during situations involving baby or child presentations all the way to reproductive instruction, interaction, and possible telepathic absorption of emotions and sensations. In many such encounters, there is normally a mantis or insectoid being directing and observing the other beings and people involved. Regarding these unusual beings and their unusual circumstances, abduction researcher and licensed clinical social worker John Carpenter asked over 2 decades ago, why would anyone imagine a large bug directing an abduction experience? Is this something we would hope for or desire to see? Subjects sense a higher level of wisdom and functioning in this type of entity. Whatever its purpose or origin, we certainly need further study. More than 20 years have passed since John Carpenter and other researchers made this observation, and contact between the mantis or insectoid beings and humans has continued, and we have learned much more from abductee experiencers who have consciously recalled memories of being in their presence and of being operated on, of being studied by them, and from being shown or accidentally remembering some of their technology. These beings have long, narrow faces with long, narrow, large eyes, sharply slanted upward and outward in an almost narrow V position, giving an almost insect-like appearance. This comparison is heightened by the praying mantis type's extremely thin, long torsos, long, extremely thin arms, which are usually crooked into a sharp bend at the midjoint with the hands and fingers sloping almost vertically downward from the wrist, and legs also bent at an almost right angle at the midjoint, creating a crouched pose. The overall effect is the characteristic praying mantis look, and it should be noticed that experiencers feel that this type is no insect, but rather an intelligent, gentle-spirited, and jerky-moving human-like life form. And there are both males and females of the species. One insectoid, described by an abductee, was a female, and her demeanor was positive and inquisitive. Her eyes were dark brown to near black, and this insectoid used what is sometimes referred to as a camouflage response, or a screen image to make herself appear as a less threatening being, and as the experiencer was not afraid, she then allowed herself to be viewed up close and thoroughly by the subject. This included intentionally allowing the experiencer to observe her genitalia, which were a very light color. This was obviously a teaching moment for the subject, who still believes this was being completely positive and non-threatening. Another well-known case is that of artist and experiencer David Huggins, and his provides an interesting and alternative view into these beings. One important note to mention before we talk about Huggins is the ones he has seen over his lifetime did not have black skin and appeared more brown-green in color. They also are always present when he and Crescent, his alien lover, are having intercourse, and as you can see if you buy his book on Amazon, I own a copy and I love his paintings. I can't think of one other experiencer that has experiences that vivid. He also believes that they are in charge and he also believes he's like fathered like hundreds of hybrid children with Crescent. Basically, it's like a Crescent is like a human female torso and legs, but then has a gray alien head with a like either a wig or human hair. I don't know. It's better just to look up David Huggins paintings. David Huggins' insectoid beings behave in a more controlling fashion during his encounter. He often depicts them without clothing, but is sometimes seen wearing a cape or cloak. His insectoids behave in what some have termed a voyeuristic manner, observing the encounters between him and Crescent. So here's some insectoids being described. I woke up at about 2:30 in the morning to find a tall praying mantis looking being and a cloaked being by the side of my bed. I thought to myself, what crazy dream is this? The cloaked being looked at me from beneath its hood, revealing its black skin which appeared leathery and reflecting light, much like a beetle's skin. I shut my eyes thinking this must be a realistic dream, but when I reopened my eyes, they were still there. The cloaked figure looked up to the tall praying mantis type as if it was confused as to what actions it should take next. The insectoid turned its head towards the hooded one and made a series of high-pitched clicking sounds, and I sensed this was the one in command, possibly the other was some kind of security guard, and it's at this point I realized I'm definitely not dreaming. I can hear them. All I recall is that it was tall, at least 7 foot. It had to bend its neck because of the height of the ceiling. Its head was pointed with large eyes. Its forearms were extremely long and moved in a jerky fashion. The cloaked figure was closer, crouching by my bed, so I couldn't tell how tall it was, but I could clearly see that it was wearing some kind of overlapping ridged armor, including a metallic-looking breastplate that had a series of circles on it, and its head was dome-like, with emotionless facial features, and its eyes were large and surrounded again by detailed ridges, and it acted in a way that reminded me of a robot or an insect. At this point, the insectoid bent its upper body over my bed and directly above me. In its hand, it was holding a long metallic object that looked like a needle. A green light shot directly from the needle and into my right eye. Maybe it was a laser, I'm not sure, but I know that it felt very painful, and I could see all the veins from my eye, and the same effect when you get an optician that checks your eyes. I screamed, but no noise came out. I then felt something stick into my skull. I'm not sure what, because by that time I had my eyes closed. I pretended to sleep and went into deep panic. My mind was racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and I had a great whooshing sound, and when I next reopened my eyes, thankfully, they had gone. Another well-known case involving insectoids is that of Simon Parkes, that has gone public with his contact experiences. I need to cover that one. I haven't. Yeah. He describes the insectoid beings as very proud beings who are capable of exerting a strong, commanding presence, and they are also very technical and think like a chess computer. So we now go on to describe some of their technology reported from an experiencer. For those of you whose curiosity we have roused, the insectoid was very kind to me. He urged me to stay calm and telepathically reassured me everything would be all right. My right eye was removed by a device that came down from the white ceiling. I started to really panic, but the insectoid kept me from really freaking out. Then it was replaced. The insectoid also told me telepathically that I was a special person who would really make a difference here on Earth. I'm now 44 years old and have made no real significant differences to the human race. I think he may have just wanted to reassure a child at the time. I've retained one thing from my encounter. I still have the power to see major global disasters before they happen. I only report them to either my fiance or my close family members because I know anyone else would just call me crazy. But now they believe me for the most part because when I see something clearly and tell them, it always happens. This has been your host, Luke. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe for more. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching. This artwork was commissioned by me and done by the wonderful art of Eric Stitt. If you would like to commission him, his links will be down below in the comments and description. Have a good night. Bye.